Hello and welcome back to the show. It's Christine Jewell. And in case you missed the last two episodes, I highly recommend going back. We talked about two big questions. Number one was, should I stay or should I go? If you're in a relationship, you're in a season where you feel like you're being pulled in a new direction, maybe there's a business decision to be made. How do you know when it's time to move on? How do you know what that next step is? The other thing we talked about last week was how do we reignite love and passion and fire in our relationship? And I debunked some of the myths around love. And I broke down the world's definition of love versus what kingdom love actually is. And yes, we can have love and we can have passion and we can have fire, but they're not the same thing. Today, I want to unpack another big question that people come to me with. And that is, will they ever change? Will he ever change? Will she ever change? How do I know? How can I trust that if I say yes another time, and it's not just wishful thinking, and I'm just going to be beating my head against the wall, repeating the same pattern over and over again, but there is actually going to be transformation. I want to start out the gate by saying, look, I believe in transformation. I am a transformational breakthrough coach. That is what I help people do. I help people get from one operating reality, one way of thinking, talking, acting inside of their relationship, inside of their businesses, into a completely different mental operating system, physical reality, emotional reality, spiritual reality. So I want to start this episode by telling you, do I believe that people can change? Absolutely. That is the entire message of the gospel, right? That is the entire message. Do I believe that people can change on their own? That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So I want to just start with that right out the gate at the top. I do believe people can change. I believe God can do amazing things. I do believe it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of intention, support, divine intervention sometimes. And God is a God of restoration. He's a God of redemption. He loves to write stories, but it requires partnership. It requires work on our hand. It requires that we put our hands to the plow and we do the things that need to happen. So let's talk about what some of those things are. Today, I want to talk about seven things to look out for that will give you big signals, huge feedback on, should I keep this person? Maybe you're thinking about a person at work, right? They keep making the same mistakes. It's like Groundhog Day all the time. And you have been pouring into these people. You've been pouring, and you're like, am I wasting my time here? I mean, we want to coach and mentor everybody up. But sometimes, people are not willing to change. People are not doing the work that's required for them to experience that next level of growth, that next level of promotion, or to be in that seat we want them to. Also, inside of relationships, I'm just going to say, ladies, a lot of ladies, we love projects. We love projects. Some guys are just not willing to change, right? And we're not supposed to be looking for projects anyway. So let me just say that. So not everybody wants help. Not everybody wants to be transformed. Not everybody wants to change, and not everyone is ready to change. So how do we know? Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about it today. So I want to just start with this. There's a difference between hope and faith and belief in transformation and just wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is like, we've got our beer goggles on, we've got our rose colored glasses on, and everything looks like what we want it to see. We are romanticizing the idea of a relationship or a person or a position. Maybe they talk really well, right? Maybe they're great at talking the talk, but the walk just has not aligned to it, right? They're not a walking, talking reflection of their talk and their values, but they can talk a talk, right? So what is the difference between wishful thinking, delusion, and hope, faith, really being able to see the potential or the promise in someone and see the character of someone who wants to walk that out? Well, for those of you who are hearing, maybe there's someone in your life who keeps saying, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's a lot of apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I did that. I'm so sorry I said that. I'm sorry I messed that up. I'm sorry. There's a lot of sorry, but not a lot of results. Okay. Red flag number one, pay attention. Okay. Lots of apologizing, no results, no action. They keep promising to do better. They keep promising to do things different. They keep promising that next time, but the next time it's the same result. Okay. Red flag number one. Number two, is maybe you've got a person who isn't performing, right? Um, but gets it, right? They say like, "Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it." And tells you, "I'm really committed to it this time. I get you. I get what you're saying. I totally get it. I'm going to do better this time." But still not performing. Still not stepping up to the plate. Still not fully, it's not just taking ownership, but it's taking aligned action. Okay? Number 3, you desperately want the best for this person. Maybe you have somebody you're like, "Man, I can see for them what they can't even see for themselves. Like, I could see their future, I could see their potential, I could see," and you want it for them more than they want it for them. And look, as a coach, I have to watch myself all the time, right? Because that's my gift. That's my gift. I could see, I have a gift of prophecy, and I have a gift to see a lot what is possible for this person when they choose to get into integrity, when they choose to get into alignment. But here's the thing, there are always multiple realities at play. And it's just like our kids. We can see the best for them. We could see everything that they could be in the future, but sometimes they're not ready to walk it out. And we will hold on to that promise and we'll continue to speak life over them. But we want to make sure that we are not being delusional and like romanticizing the idea or the future that we think we could see with someone when it's not actually what they want. Okay. So there's a misalignment of what they want, value systems, and everything like that. So I just wanted to start with those 3 red flags. Pay attention to those. Number 1, you want it more for people than they want it for themselves. Number 2, people showing up, always apologizing, but no change of behavior. Number 3 is, like I said, they say they get it. I get it. I get it. I'll do better. I'll do better next time. They're really committed, but there's no actionable follow through that you could see. Okay. Red flags. So let's dive into the 7 things I already gave you 3 I want you to look for, but I'm going to dive into the 7 right now that really let you know that change is happening. Transformation is underway. You can also look at this as like 7 things that really need to be in place for lasting, sustainable, transformative change to take place. That means from going from being one person to another. I do believe that we are always growing. We're always evolving. We're designed to always be growing, always be evolving. That's a beautiful thing. Look, I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was last year. I keep evolving. I keep growing in my heart, in my soul, my spirit. Like, yes, of course, I'm the same soul, but I keep growing and I keep evolving, and we're created to do that. So I just want to preface this entire thing with that we are designed to always be evolving. This is a beautiful thing. Okay. So, number 1, how do you know if somebody's really serious about change? Number 1, there's ownership. There's not only ownership that says, "Man, I know this is a problem. I know that I'm the one, right? I'm the common denominator. I'm not stepping up. I'm not showing up. I'm the one, like, I'm constantly getting triggered by this. I'm super reactive." There's ownership that says, "I see it. It's my thing. I'm going to do something about it." And here's the second part of that: I don't know how to do it on my own. Otherwise, I would have done it by now. So I need help. So there's ownership of the problem, ownership of being the one that has to do something different, and also ownership of the fact that they don't have the solution. They're not able to figure it out on their own. Otherwise, it would have been done by now, and they need help. Here's where it goes wrong. A lot of people say, "You know what? I know it. I'm right." Just like I gave you those little red flags, right? I know I'll do better next time. But they still think, "I can figure it out on my own. I can solve this drinking problem on my own. I can solve this addiction on my own. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. I'll handle it." The reality is, if they don't get help, if they don't acknowledge that they don't have the answers, that they can't fix it on their own, you're probably going to be just reliving Groundhog Day. Okay. That brings me to number 2. The second piece of evidence that we want to look for that somebody is serious about change, and again, I believe people can transform, is that they have signed up for, or there is active involvement, verifiable involvement in some kind of change process, some kind of process that takes them through a transformation. So, a very basic example of this would be somebody has a drinking problem, right? They acknowledge, I am an alcoholic. I know I'm an alcoholic. I know I can't beat this thing on my own. I know I need help. And I'm going to now show you that I have invested in, I have signed up, I have checked myself in. Maybe that's rehab, maybe that's AA, maybe that's another group, but there is an active involvement and proof in the pudding that they have signed up or signed in to go get help, right? To be part of a structure. So that can look like a lot of things. It can look like coaching, it can look like a group, it can look like, therapy, although I'm not a huge fan of therapy, and that's for another episode. But there is verifiable evidence that, you know what? I have put myself into a container and a process that has proven record of results, right? A proven record of results. Now we're moving in the right direction, which brings me to number 3, which is that there is new structure. Okay. So this is how also we know, number 1, okay, they acknowledge that change has to happen, and they acknowledge they can't do it on their own. So they need help. Number 2, I see that they've gone and acquired help, put themselves into a proven process. Look, it can be a self-paced course that has some accountability on the outside, but where we are designed to heal and transform in communities. I'm just going to say this. Okay. The third thing here is additional structure. Structure creates discipline, and discipline creates freedom. Most people that are stuck in old cycles, they're slaves to the cycle. Okay. We are slaves to the cycle because if we could figure it out on our own, we would have done it. So without people don't change unless there is a new structure to support that change. Okay. People don't change unless there's a new structure to the support that change. For example, somebody who says, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to take care of myself, and they have had no structure around their workouts or their eating or anything like that. Their level of self discipline when it comes to health and managing their own workouts, it's not ingrained in their neural pathways, right? They lack the self discipline, they lack the structure to generate vitality and health. So that might look like, okay, I'm going to get a trainer, right? Then I'm going to book my workouts in. I'm going to change my morning routine. I'm going to be getting up and hitting the gym instead of getting up and hitting work. And I have a structured class or something that I attend to. Maybe there's a structured meal plan. Maybe there's even a meal plan that's delivered to the house. There's so many of them now, right? But you see where all of a sudden we're interrupting the old pattern and we're stacking new structures. We have to remember that neural pathways are hardwired, right? They're hardwired. So our brains are always choosing the path of least resistance. And 95% of what we do is actually unconscious. That means we're not even thinking about it. We're breathing, we're walking, we're driving, we're thinking about stuff. All of this stuff is just happening behind the scenes. So to create change means to interrupt the familiar patterns and create new pathways, new structures, right? New structures of thinking, new neural pathways, new highways in our brain, new structures of habits, which means we're doing things that we haven't done before, and we start doing them repeatedly until they become ingrained in our nervous system, right? Until they become new structures that we're used to. So I want to say this, new patterns take time uh, to develop, right? We have to train ourselves to think different. We have to train ourselves to show up different. We have to train ourselves not to be reactive. So I gave you a simple example of the gym. But again, if we're working on not being as reactive, maybe we have a history of blowing up, losing our temper, not being able to control our emotions. Well, number 1 is acknowledging that I need to do something different because I don't create a safe environment at home. Number 2 is, okay, have I got a proven process around me to help me change the way that I talk, that I think, that I slow down, to notice my emotions, like really just practice emotional control and awareness and all of the things that come with that. And then what is the structure? Is there actually a thing that I get to do that makes me notice the triggers, right? Maybe there's a new structure of, once you notice your body changing, there's a step-by-step protocol that you are put into that helps you break it down and get a different result. Okay. So anything from working out to communication to developing a spiritual walk, or to cultivating a skill set at work, being more productive, more effective. We need a different structure. This is one of the biggest things I work with my clients inside of my coaching containers is we really dial in. What are your morning protocols? What does your like deep work blocks look like? What does your schedule actually look like in the day based around alignment and your priorities and the things that matter most? What is your end of day rituals or stacks? What are your evening stacks? Because we're always stacking these little structures that create results for us. It's so hard when we're just focused on the result and we don't have the right infrastructure. So I spent a lot of time on this because this is where, again, you guys, I'm going to just give a shout out to the coaching, right? We have many coaching programs. We have coaching programs for people who are just, trying to get like internal personal leadership right. I want to be a better leader at home, at work, just in my teams, like just everyone. Leadership starts within. You want to lead yourself better? We have programs to support you with that. Are you managing big teams and you've got to lead bigger people, like bigger groups of people? You have heavier decisions on your shoulders. You're being called into the next season, but you got some habits that are just really destructive that you got to kick. We have support for you there too. We have structure, we have process that we put you through so you can have change. Okay. Number 4, once we have that structure in place, right? We know we got the morning workout, we've hired the trainer, we've got the meal plans in place. You're working with a coach like me to really work on your communication frameworks. We've given you new frameworks of communication. Next thing is we need measures of success. So, how do you know someone's going to change? Well, their structure changed, right? Their schedule changed, the things that they're doing changes, the way that they're managing their days is changing. Like a lot of things are starting to shift. And number 4 is they're measuring. There's accountability. Somewhere there's accountability. So, what are the things that we're measuring, right? We have measures of success. There's some kind of monitoring system. So it could be something as simple as like, if we're working on better communication in our relationship, we actually have a check-in, right? We actually have a check-in with each other. Maybe it's every day because we need it every day. Like, how are we doing today in creating safer communication for each other? And we can rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can ask your spouse. We give each other permission to hold us accountable. And we say, like, I want you to tell me, like, how am I doing in this area of responding when we're communicating on a scale of 1 to 10? How safe do you feel in communication with me now? Are we moving in the right direction? Going back to the health example, we're looking at how am I doing in my workouts, right? How's my meal plan going? Like, there's usually some kind of accountability that shows us I'm either tracking in the right way or not. So I'm going to put a pin in it for a second. I've given you 4 things to start to pay attention to. If you have people on your team, you have someone in your life that keeps promising you, I know I need to do something different. I'm owning it. I got to do something different. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you seeing these things? Because if you're not seeing themselves, the measuring, like, and they're not allowing people to help hold them accountable, that's a problem. If they don't have a system that is creating new structure, right, that's a problem. If somebody wants to quit drinking, they don't keep hanging out in the same places, going to the same places after work, driving the same way home past the liquor shop or whatever. They have a different process for how they run their day. And so this is just, again, structure for what we drink when we go out, structure for what we drink when we eat dinner at home. Like, we put measures and structures in place. Should be seeing this stuff, you guys. Okay. Number 5, new skill sets. How do I know if somebody's actually changing, if somebody is actually committed to doing the work? Well, they are getting themselves new skills. They are acquiring new skill sets, they're seeking it out, and a lot of these are overlapping, right? And or they're putting themselves in new experiences. Again, this is why I'm a huge fan of coaching. We hear this all the time. We are the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So am I putting myself in experiences where people actually value health and vitality, and like they're taking care of their bodies and honoring their bodies, and like that's the standard and that's the norm and that's the language? Or am I still in the same old skill sets around food prep and the same people. Like, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So maybe I need to take a cooking class. Maybe I'm, um, getting new skill sets around reading food labels. And I'm using some super basic examples today on health. But when it comes to communication, what are some skill sets you could be cultivating for creating safer communication? Well, number one is listening. That's probably one of the biggest things that I give my clients to do is I say, stop talking, start listening. Let's shift the equation 70-30 or 80, even 20 for a minute. So we got to train yourself to hear people instead of talk over them. So what is it like when you're listening? What does that process look like? So we hear, we repeat back what we think we heard. We ask clarifying questions. We get curious. We're cultivating a skill set for how to hear, how to clarify communication, how to gather information, how to seek to understand, so that when we do talk, we are speaking the right thing from the right place instead of fighting about a problem or trying to defend ourselves about something that we made up in our head because we're reactive and we're emotional. So, how do I know this person's going to change? I'm seeing them actively acquiring new skill sets. I'm seeing them actively seeking new experiences that match the future we want. If people are just going back to the same old thing, the same old experiences, there is no excuse in today's world for ignorance. I'm just going to say this right now. There are zero lack of resources. Right now, you're on YouTube, you're listening to this, you're listening to this podcast. This is free. Okay. The level of information and education and skill gathering abilities that are available to us today are limitless. You could literally learn how to build anything online using YouTube and Chat GPT. The thing is application, right? So we cannot claim, oh, I can't afford it. Oh, I don't have anybody. You are surrounded by information, education, systems. The thing is, will you pick up the tools and start to put them to work, right? So a lot of these excuses that people are still showing up with, I don't buy it. I don't buy it anymore. And so one of the biggest questions I ask people before I take them on as a client is, are you willing to do work you've never done? Are you willing to try things you've never tried? Are you willing to, you know, do things that make no sense to you? Are you willing to be a student and not like the expert for a season? And unless their answer is yes, 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 I probably know they're not going to succeed in coaching, to be honest, because they're just not ready. They're not there. They still think that they know the answers, that they have the way, that they can figure it out. So they still have some learning to do, right? Some more pain and suffering to experience. Okay, we've talked about new skill sets, new experiences. Let's go with the last two. Powerful internal intrinsic motivation. Okay. How do I know? Is this person actually going to change? I'm curious. What is their reason for changing? If somebody's only motivation is external, I'm going to change so that I can get this raise. I'm going to change so that I can get whatever from you. I'm going to change so that you'll just like love me more and you'll be more affectionate. You'll want to have more sex with me. Whatever the thing is, if the motivation is external, it's going to be short lived every single time. And I see this so often. People are dangling carrots in front of teams or their employees or whatever as carrots and like, okay, if you just do this, you can get that. It's like telling a kid, if you're good, I'll give you a piece of candy at the end of the day. These are not toddlers, these are adults. And while everybody loves to be rewarded and loves to see a reward for their labor and for their work, it has to be an internal game, right? So, what is the thing? What does success look like to them? Why does it matter to them? What does it say about them as a person? Like, why do they want this change so badly, regardless of whether or not anybody sees or appreciates it on the outside? Going back to the drinking thing, right? If somebody's drinking really heavily, or maybe this is you listening, and maybe you're like, man, I want to stop for my family. Okay, that's lovely. That's noble. Yes, I agree. I was the daughter of an alcoholic, and I love hearing that. And I also know that, what if your daughter doesn't see it? What if your daughter doesn't appreciate it? What if your daughter doesn't understand? external motivation is never as strong, powerful, or lasting as intrinsic motivation, although it can be a great driver because external things change, right? So that's great. You want to do it for your kids. Is that because of your kids, or is it because of who you want to be as a father, the kind of man, the kind of woman you want to be, the kind of legacy you want to leave behind? They might be the thing, the catalyst that kind of lights it up. Maybe you see something in them that lights something in you that says, I never, ever, ever want to be the reason why somebody feels that way again. I never, ever, ever want to be the reason why my daughter ends up in these same abusive cycles or lonely cycles of disconnection or whatever. Powerful intrinsic motivator for me to get my act together, you guys, in relationships was I was like, I never want my children, I don't want to like exemplify this model of relationship that is dysfunctional and broken and then have my kids think that that's normal and then go live that out. I want to do better. I want to live out a better experience for them, a better model so that they can see what true, healthy, connected uh, marriage looks like. I want that for my son. I want that for my daughters. I want that for all of our children. But it's an internal game. The last thing is, so do they have internal motivation? What is it? Are they clear about it? If they can't articulate it, I would be wondering, okay, you've got to dig. You've got to dig until it's crystal clear. The chances for long lasting change are probably pretty slim. The last one here is a great support system around them. We need scaffolding. I talk a lot about wise counsel. How is their circle changing? Is their circle changing, right? Or are they still hanging out with the same people, having the same conversations? They're still seeking advice from the people who aren't healthy or don't have a great relationship or don't know how to invest financially or don't have any peace in their life, even though they have a lot of money and they're giving life advice. Like, again, when we think about real transformation happening, these are the things I'm looking for. Is what is the skilled support system look like that they're building around them, that they're seeking around them? The thing I said earlier, the first thing I said was acknowledgement that I need help, acknowledgement that I can't do it alone. Now I'm starting to see, I physically can see that there are new people coming around them for support. Maybe it's coaches, maybe it's therapists, maybe it's mentors, maybe it's new friends, new alliances, um, new people at whatever, anywhere, right? But we get to be so careful, you guys. I talk about this so much of the people that we allow to influence us. We can have a great friend, but if we're asking them for help in an arena that they're not skilled in, it's a detriment to both of us, right? Leave that as a friendship, but get your support system for the thing you're trying to change from people who are skilled in that area, who have experienced their own transformation in that area, and who are a support system, have a proven process for that area. And I just want to say this, like, you don't need to be an expert. um, I'm more interested if somebody has gone through what I've gone, what I want to go through, what I need to go through. If there's a change that I want to experience in my life, when I look at who are the people that I'm going to seek out to be my support system and my network, I'm looking for people who have gone through their transformation. In fact, recently we have a coaching certification. We had a group of new coaches come through, and we were honest with one of the gentlemen. Awesome guy, great heart, love him. I know that he will be a great mentor someday, but he wasn't ready to go out and coach. So the next step for him after certification, we said, you know what? You need to go through your own transformation season. You need to go through a proper, year round of coaching and have your own experience, like shifting your health, shifting your relationship, shifting the way that you feel at the end of the day, the work that you're doing. Once you're in alignment and integrity, now you can help other people get into alignment and integrity. And look, I want to say none of us is perfect. We all have mess going on, but we need to have an understanding of what that process is like, what the fire of refinement is like, the lows, the highs, the things that tempt us along the way. And you guys, I'm just going to put it out here. This is why I know when I work with people intimately in the work that we're doing, I know what not to do because I've pretty much done all of it. I can see the red flags a mile away. I can see the orange flags. I can see the temptations. I know when they're going to come. I know exactly how they're going to come. So we start to be proactive and pre-decide how we're going to show up when challenges, when challenges show up, when we're tired and we don't have the capacity. Like we have a game plan, we have a strategy, instead of just like, oh, I don't know, what should I do now, right? Reacting, tossed about in the waves like a double-minded man, double-minded woman. I'm going to end with this. All of these things are things that we can see. Can I see these things? Can you see these things in the people? The person that is promising you that they're going to change, is promising you that they want to do better, is promising you that they want to be committed. If you are not seeing a majority of these things, I would really flash up some big old red lights and say, pump the brakes. Pause, let them go work on themselves, let them cultivate the character. It takes time. You need to show evidence over time that change is happening. So if trust has been broken in a relationship and you're looking to rebuild trust after betrayal, like, yes, I'm all for it. I forgive, I extend grace. It's happened to me. I've done it. But and I do believe that the healing, God can heal instantly. Our spirit is transformed instantly, and we still get to walk it out, right? We still get to walk it out physically. It's not like, well, that happened last week, I'm a new woman, so I'm a new man, you should just forgive it, get over it, and like pretend like nothing's happened. No, I forgive. I'm focused on the future, and I'm also watching and observing, is your character and integrity with the future that we're creating here. So remember, guys, that grace is a beautiful thing. Grace is that unmerited favor of God. And it is so beautiful. Let me start with 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is sufficient for you. My loving kindness and my mercy are more than enough, right? More than enough. Isn't that awesome? My grace is sufficient. My mercy is more than enough, right? My loving kindness. Um, and it's so beautiful that in our weakness, it's through our relationship with Christ that he strengthens us. So if somebody's going through change, maybe you're the one that's going through change and you're like, man, I got some things to work on. I want you to remember that his grace is the thing that empowers us, that equips us, that comes in the gap when we're like, man, I don't know if I can do it alone. You can't do it alone. This is the thing. With God, all things are possible, right? Matthew 19:26 says Jesus looked at the disciples and the people, and he said, with people, as long as it depends on them, it's impossible. But with God, all things are possible. So I just want to encourage you that maybe you're taking these steps and you're still wondering, like, man, is it possible? Can I change? Do I have what it takes? I want to encourage you. You're not doing it alone. You're doing it with the grace of God. You're doing it with the power of God on your life, divine empowerment that makes the impossible things possible. Grace is the empowering power behind possibility, removing human limitations, right? When we surrender ourselves, we say, God, I'm going to put my hands to the plow. I will create new structures. Help me to be disciplined, right? I'm going to get help. Give me the provision to hire the people that I need. This is partnerships. And I'll end with this. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your works to the Lord. Commit your plan. Commit this transformation to the Lord. Not through striving and stressing about it, right? But just commitment, with a heart of commitment, a heart of devotion, a heart of surrender. And your plans will succeed, right? Your plans will succeed. This verse connects success not to our striving or to us having to figure it all out or us having to do it all, but our alignment to God's heart, to his mind, to his will, his purpose and plans for us. And when we surrender our plans to him, again, his grace empowers us. His grace that we don't deserve. We don't have to do anything to earn it, but it's his grace that empowers us, that directs us, that sustains us and sustains the work. And that's what really produces lasting fruitfulness, lasting results. Because what you create on your own, you have to sustain on your own. You guys, that's exhausting. If you think you have to figure this all out on your own, you're going to have to hold it all together on your own. And that's exhausting. So now I'm talking to both people, both ends, right? Maybe you're the one that's waiting on someone to change or transform, and you keep giving them more chances. We also get to extend grace. We get to extend grace, and we get to pray with these people, and we get to root for these people. If I see someone with a heart for transformation, and they're showing up and they're doing the things and they're trying their best and they are getting help and they are in a process and they're creating new structures, there's going to be days where they mess up. There's going to be days where they don't get it right. There's going to be days where maybe it's an epic fail and it feels like you took 10 steps backwards. But I see your heart. I see you showing up every day. I see you surrendering. I see you, giving it up to God. I'm going to extend grace because I'm going to be the reflection also of the heart of God in this. So I hope today's episode was helpful for you. I hope that it spoke some life into you. I hope that it spoke clarity into your situation, and that it also gave you some practical, tactical things that you can begin to move on. I also want to say a lot of the things I shared today are taken out of Dr. Henry Cloud's book on Necessary Endings. It's a great book on how to know when it's time to make business decisions that have to end and start new seasons. So I'm a big fan. Get in there, read the word of God, surround yourself with great books, great mentors, get the support that you need from people, and transformation is absolutely possible. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed today's show, please share this show with somebody. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Do you know that over 90% of people that listen to this show are actually not even subscribed? You guys, when you subscribe, it helps us get the word out. So please subscribe. If you're watching this online, comment in the comments. These things help get the word out. They help increase the reach so that more people can hear this message. And lastly, as always, if you want support in this process, if you know you are facing something, maybe you guys are facing something in your marriage and you can't do it alone. You've tried, it's not working. What you've been doing isn't working. You're ready to do something different. You're ready to get the structure, the accountability, the support around you. Click on the link, book a call. Let's see if coaching is the right next step for you. And you know what? If it's not, we can direct you through some of our great programs or books. Drop the Armor being one of them, which is like a $30 investment. So no excuses. Get in the game. Let's make some transformation happen today.